Okay, good afternoon students. So in the last class we have just started the mechanism of respiration. So I would like to give you just a brief explanation of what we have learned from the previous classes. Okay, let me tell you, respiration or respiratory cycle include two phases. First one is inspiration and second one is expiration. Inspiration is the process by which air is sucked into the lungs from the atmosphere, and the expiration is the process by which air is exhaled out of the lungs. Okay, and these two processes, the inspiration and expiration, is only possible when the movement of thoracic cage or rib cage and the lungs is accomplished. Okay, so let me tell you, the inspiration is an active process, but the expiration is a passive process. Inspiration needs the active participation of some muscles. Okay, so first we'll discuss about the inspiration alone. So let me tell you, for both of this process, inspiration and expiration, there should be the participation of muscles. Okay, the muscles are the principal factor which makes the movement of thoracic cage possible. Okay, and also diaphragm itself is a muscle. Okay, so first we will discuss about the inspiration. What are the activities of muscles during inspiration? So for making this inspiration possible, there are two kinds of muscles. First one is the external intercostal muscles, and second one is diaphragm. Okay, so we'll see the external intercostal muscle. Where is the location of external intercostal muscles? It is situated on the outer surface of the rib cage. Okay, this intercostal means those muscles which are seen between the ribs is known as intercostals. Okay, and some of the muscles which are seen protruded out of this rib is known as the external intercostal muscles, somewhat to the surface. Okay, so this is the picture of the whole thoracic cavity. It includes trachea's bifurcations into primary bronchi to lungs. The lungs is covered by rib cage. This is a cross section. Okay, so you can see the ribs in circular shape, and this one is the intercostals, and the external intercostals you can see on the surface of this ribs like this. Okay, so in this figure where we can find the diaphragm is just inferior to the lungs. Okay, so the lungs and the rib cage resides upon the diaphragm. Okay, first we'll see about the activity of external intercostal during inspiration. Okay, so this external intercostal muscles located on the outer surface of this rib cage will contract and pull this rib cage to outside. Okay, that is why during inspiration, while we are taking air in, this thoracic cage is pulled out. Okay, and what about the activity of diaphragm? Diaphragm is seen just below this lungs and rib cage. Okay, so usual relaxed diaphragm will look like this dome shape. It is more convex. It is more pushed to the inner side. Okay, more up. So the contracted diaphragm will look like this, more flattened. Okay, so during inspiration we have just seen the external intercostal muscles will contract and the diaphragm also will contract. Okay, the diaphragm will attain this shape, this flattened shape. So during inspiration the diaphragm will go down and it will attain a flattened shape So the net effect is what? The volume of thoracic cavity will increase. What is thoracic cavity? The cavity in which the lungs, the ribcage, everything is seen. Okay, so what happens if the diaphragm is going up and the ribcage is going out? What happens? The thoracic volume increases. The lungs also will be increasing. Okay, the lungs which were residing on the diaphragm, upon the contraction of diaphragm, what happens? The lungs will distend. Okay, by this action only, what happens? The air will move in to the lungs. Okay, so the first aim is accomplished. Inspiration has occurred. Okay, second one is expiration. Expiration is at the time which the external intercostal muscles will relax. Expiration, during which the external intercostals will relax. Which muscles will be working at that time? Which muscles will be contracting that time? Internal intercostals. Okay, internal intercostals, which is seen in the inner sides of this rib, will contract. So what is the net effect? The rib cage will pull in. Okay, the deflated rib cage will pull in, so decreasing its volume. Okay, and also you can see the most principal organ, diaphragm, will relax. Okay, diaphragm will relax. That means diaphragm will attain its convex shape again. Okay, the diaphragm which were flattened during inspiration, what happens during expiration? It will go up. Okay, so during expiration, the thoracic cage will be pulled in by the contraction of internal intercostals, and also you can say find this a diaphragm also attaining its original shape, that is dome shape. Okay, so it will be pushing the contents within, okay, upwards. So what happens? Eventually the lungs also will be deflating. Lungs is residing upon the diaphragm, so when the diaphragm is pulled in, what happens? The lungs will be deflated. Okay, by that action the air moves out. Understood? So let me tell you, here we can find, let me tell you one important point. The pressure, this is all a play with gases, right? Oxygen and carbon dioxide. So the pressure is an inevitable thing here. Okay, because there is the presence of gases here, there would be also pressure. Okay, we know that the gases and the liquid is having free molecules which can move around, right? Because of that they can exert pressure. Okay, so pressure is an important thing to discuss with. So there should be a pressure difference between the atmosphere and the inner side of the lungs to produce expiration and inspiration. Pressure gradient. Okay, we know that the gases only transfer from high pressure to low pressure. Okay, high and low. That means pressure have to change. The pressure gradient should be established on both sides to make a transfer of these gases. Okay, so the pressure which is seen within the lungs is known as intrapulmonary pressure. Okay, pulmonary is the term which denotes something related to lungs, and the pressure within the lungs is known as intrapulmonary, or more specifically we can say the pressure within the alveoli. Okay, alveoli are small globule air sacs within the lungs, right? So the pressure which is exerted within these alveoli, okay, it is known as the intrapulmonary pressure. And the atmospheric pressure of the air surrounds us, it is the atmospheric pressure. Okay, usually, so what is intrapulmonary? It is the pressure which is seen inside the lungs. Okay, there is also intrapleural pressure, which we'll discuss later. Okay, intrapleural pressure, we know that there is a pleural cavity. The lungs is covered by pleura. Okay, the parietal pleura and visceral pleura. Parietal pleura is outside, visceral pleura is more inside, more adhering to the lungs. Okay, between that we can find a small space, pleural cavity. So in which between the pleural cavity also there is one pressure, it is known as intrapleural pressure. Okay, that we'll discuss later. First you have to engram, that is intrapulmonary pressure within the lungs. Okay, so now we are going to discuss is about by this pressure change, how the pressure change is established, and by this pressure change how the air comes in and goes out. Okay, so the atmospheric pressure is usually, this is atmosphere, this is within the lungs. Okay, atmospheric pressure is usually 760 millimeters of mercury. This is the normal atmospheric pressure. Okay, so for this inspiration to occur, we know that the air moves from high pressure to low pressure. Okay, for inspiration to occur, what is needed? Low pressure within the lungs. Okay, so just let me tell you, during inspiration, what is the movement of thoracic cage and lungs? It will be moving out, right? The lungs will be going out anteroposteriorly, vertically, transversely. This rib cage will be expanding. Okay, and this lungs also will be expanding during inspiration. Okay, so within the lungs there are same amount of molecules. Okay, there are certain amount of air molecules within the lungs. Okay, so during inspiration, by the expansion of these structures, what is happening? The volume increases, but the volume increases by the expansion of these structures, right? Thoracic cavity volume increases, but same molecules of air inside. So what happens? The pressure inside the lungs will decrease. The pressure will be exerted only when there is a compressed stage, right? This is one relaxed stage. That is, all these structures are expanding. So the air inside the lungs is having more space to go and move around. Okay, so what happens? The pressure inside the lungs will be lower. Okay, the pressure will be inside the lungs will be little lower, a couple of millimeters mercury difference with the atmospheric pressure. Okay, so the pressure will be decreasing, usually 759, this is 760, right? Atmospheric pressure is 760. This would be the pressure inside the lungs during inspiration would be 759 or 758. Okay, 758 millimeters of mercury. Okay, a small pressure difference, right? So we can say within the lungs it is lower pressure, in the atmosphere it is higher pressure. So what would be the direction of air? Air from high pressure, it moves into the lower pressure. Okay, that means the air is sucked in by the pressure difference. Understood? So we have to understand that only because of this expansion of this structure the air moves in. Okay, the first process that happens during expiration is expansion of these structures. When these structures are expanding, what happens? The pressure inside this cavity, inside the lungs, will be decreasing. Why? Because by the expansion of these structures provide more space for these air molecules within. Okay, so the air molecules have lot of space to move around. So what happens? The pressure within the lungs will decrease. When the pressure decreases, the atmospheric gases always have a tendency to become normalized in pressure. Okay, so here there is low pressure, and from in the atmosphere it is already 760 mmHg, that is static, it won't change. So what happens? The atmospheric pressure, from the atmosphere the air comes in, not just comes in, it is sucked in. Okay, it is sucked in, and it equalizes. Okay, now it is 760. Understood? So during inspiration the air is sucked in, right? Okay, and what happens during expiration? So the expiration is initiated by the relaxation of diaphragm and also this internal intercostal muscle. So the structure will be pulled inside. Okay, this rib cage and the diaphragm will be sucked inside. Diaphragm will be moving out, decreasing the volume inside the lungs, and also this thoracic cage also pulls in. So what happens? There is already air molecules within the lungs, right? During the previous inspiration, the lungs will collect all the air during inspiration. So that amount of air, that much amount of air is present inside the lungs. So what happens when these structures are pulled in? When these structure volume is decreased, what happens? The pressure inside the lungs will be increasing, right? After attaining the equilibrium or of 760, by the pulling effect, by the tendency of these structures to decrease its volume, what happens? There is as many air molecules within the lungs from the previous inspiration. So what happens when these are pulled in? The air molecule will not have much space to move around. That means the pressure will rise. Okay, the pressure within the lungs will be rising above 760. Usually a couple of a minute variation. Okay, 760 during equilibrium, it is now 761 or 762 millimeters millimeters of mercury. So this one, the pressure inside the lungs will be greater than the atmosphere. So what is the direction of flow of air? It is from lungs to the exterior. Okay, that is how the inspiration is occurring.